The Mueller hearings were not what Democrats were expecting, but Chairman Jerry Nadler says he knows that there is something there, so he plans to keep on digging.
There appears to be compelling evidence of the president's misconduct outside of the four corners of the redacted version of the Mueller report, and we will work to uncover that evidence as well. The information is important, and I can't characterize the specific importance because I don't know the specific contents, obviously.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know at this point, right? So today, he did pick up more Democrats who are dedicated to going down the impeachment path with him. Nearly now 100 House Democrats are on board. Alan Dershowitz wrote The Case Against Impeaching Trump and is the author of the introduction of the Mueller report, and he joins me now. Professor Dershowitz, good to have you here tonight. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, except I want to change the name of the report from the Mueller report to the staff report, because apparently Mueller didn't write it, and apparently he didn't even read it. So I don't think we should be calling it the Mueller report anymore. They just used his name and his credibility and his very good background to give an imprimatur to a report that was obviously written by the staff.
Yeah, that was one of the most stunning revelations, I thought, as well, as we covered this. You know, it was very clear that he did not have a deep grasp of the details of the report, and very clear that he was, that he didn't know, some of the names of people involved even when he was asked about them. But you heard what Jerry Nadler said there. He said, he believes that there's some other existence outside of the report that requires them to keep digging here. You wrote The Case Against Impeaching President Trump. What would you say to him if you sent your book along with him on his August recess?
Well, my grandson's out fishing right now, and this is the perfect definition of a fishing expedition. He doesn't know what he's looking for. Maybe he'll throw some hooks in the water and hope maybe he'll come up with something. That's not the way investigations are supposed to be conducted, either prosecutorial investigations or congressional investigations. On Fox the other night, the night before the hearing, I was asked by Laura whether I thought this would be a Hail Mary pass by the Democrats, and I said no, I thought it would be an intercepted pass that the Republicans would use to their advantage and that it would hurt the Democrats. And as a Democrat myself, it was painful for me to see how the Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot. They're hurting themselves. Americans don't want to see this path toward impeachment. They want to see the Democrats work together with the Republicans and try to achieve something to make the lives of Americans better every day, not to go down the line to satisfy 100 radicals or led by 4 radicals, leading toward something that will never be impeachment. Yeah. You can't start an impeachment without a majority of the Congress.
It feels like they owe their constituents back home really want them to do this in certain areas, right? So they're going down that road, and they believe, that they want a do-over, essentially, Alan, because Robert Mueller obviously didn't give them what they wanted. Now they think, if we want our John Dean moment, we need the president's lawyer. We need John Dean. In other words, we need Don McGahn to sit there. So they're going to go back down the road. They're going to try to subpoena him. And Rachel Maddow believes that they got the wrong lawyer when they brought in Robert Mueller. Here's what she said.
Because of that performance from Mueller today, I think that lights a fire under the need to speak to the people on his team who actually did the work. I mean, if Congress really does want more substantive and detailed answers from the people who actually did that work, it would seem like they would have to pursue conversations now and testimony now from Zebley and from the other members of Mueller's team.
Yeah, Zebley sat there, didn't say one word on it.
Rachel Maddow has been wrong 90% of the time. CNN has been wrong 80% of the time. I've been right 100% of the time, not because I'm any smarter, but because I don't engage in wishful thinking. I do analysis. I try to understand the Constitution and the law, and I apply it equally no matter who is the subject. The original title of my book, The Case Against Impeaching Trump, was the case against impeaching Hillary Clinton. We even have a cover that shows it, because when I thought, and we all thought, Hillary Clinton would be elected, and people were saying, lock her up, I was writing a book on why Hillary Clinton shouldn't be impeached. So I try to make it down the middle. I'm not ideological when it comes to my analysis of the law. That's why I've been right more than CNN and more than CNBC, and that's why I continue to be right. I'm not bragging about this. I'm only making a point that it's important to analyze this from an objective point of view.
But just last question for you. You basically gave the reason that Democrats in your party should move on because people want them to. But what about, you know, Jerry Nadler, just based on what he said today, would say, no, 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 I need to do this because there's wrongdoing here and because it's my responsibility to make sure that we find it. And I'm going to beat the bushes and subpoena Don McGahn and everybody else I can until I figure out what actually happened here. That's what that's what he says.
Well, you know, that's exactly what the framers of the Constitution rejected. There was a debate about that, and they said no, wrongdoing, maladministration isn't the criteria. It needs to be treason, bribery, other high crimes and misdemeanors. And unless they have a basis for believing one of those categories has been satisfied, you don't engage in a fishing expedition. You don't use the resources of the United States government to search for some possibility that maybe you can find something that will lead to an impeachment. That's just the wrong way to go. And if the Republicans are doing this to the Democrats, you know, Nadler would be the first one to be yelling, this is a violation of the power of Congress and it shouldn't be done. We need to have the same rule for everybody, what I call the shoe on the other foot test. If it's good for the Democrats, it's good for the Republicans and vice versa.
Well, he did exactly that back in the 90s. Alan Dershowitz, good to see you tonight. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.